Hello again out there. Jonathan Hinkle from Colorado Mesa University, here to play another etude from the collection of Colorado All-State trumpet audition music. This is etude number 14. It is the Adagio, and I'm playing from the beginning up through letter C, and then I'll talk about it a little bit and play it again for you. So here we go. Okay, give me a second. Takes a minute to capture my breath after something like that because that's what I'm really focusing on the most as I play something like this. Breath control and how I'm getting into that state of relaxing before I begin my very first note. So one of the things that I'll do with my students is we'll talk about how to take that breath out and the breath in and have that be in time and as relaxed as possible, just to play the first two notes of this etude. So hopefully you noticed as I played that I was obviously trying to concentrate on the right rhythms and the right pitches, centering those pitches, but also playing exactly the articulations that are written on the page, being very particular in this case, since it is an audition etude. I'm trying to do exactly what the page tells me to do and not take any of my own liberties with that. There was a little bit of play with the tempo and some rubato, but not very much. Again, trying to be musical, but not, but staying with what's written and what's indicated on the page. I think is important for something like this. At letter B, it indicates piumoso, which means with a little more motion. So as we move from that C minor into the F major, it's important to know what keys that you're playing in. I'm moving a little bit faster there. And that also helps me as I approach the climax of these long phrases that I'm playing here, getting up to the high C. Obviously, I think as a classical trumpet player, having a high C in your register and being able to play that is pretty important. So go for that high note, trumpet players, and otherwise try not to play the G, which I know makes this really hard, just as an enduring etude and also a range etude while also making the best sound possible. I think pulling the mouthpiece out and working on what kinds of tones you're creating with your mouthpiece is really helpful in an etude like this. So if you don't have perfect pitch like myself, getting your reference pitch of your first two notes or maybe even C minor. So there's my reference. I've got that in my head now. And now I'm going to just mouthpiece buzz the first line for you. Really concentrate on the sound and the articulations that I'm making here. Now, one thing you'll notice is I'm creating a rather large, robust buzz sound in my mouthpiece. I think that helps me to deliver a better sound as I'm playing with the trumpet. But the trumpet does resist the airstream more than the mouthpiece does alone. So if you're doing the buzzing right, you're going to have to use more air. You're going to have to take more breaths even as you're buzzing alone, and that's okay. But speaking of breath work, the other thing that I want to consider with this etude is obviously where I'm going to take breaths. And it really makes sense in every four measures. It's even indicated in the first phrase. And then in between each 8-bar phrase as well. So basically every four measures. The only place where I'm interrupting that is as I'm coming into C, where I have the ritardando, and going down to the low A, the very last measure of what I played, you really need a bigger breath. So I have decided to take a breath there and measure the end of measure 21, but I tried to set it up musically so that it was not interruptive of the phrase. So again, pay really close attention to the articulations that are written here. This etude is about your pitch centering and your ability to play with good tone all the way through the registers of the trumpet. We play from a low A all the way to a high C, so covering most of the ground of our normal range in this one etude. So hopefully that's a little helpful for you. I'm going to play it one last time, and here we go. All right, thank you so much. And again, please feel free to reach out if you have any questions about this or if you just want to say hi. I'd love to chat with you. Take care.